actually not available for us right now is Noni Madueke. So what do we think of a situation where two of the players who have been able to find Victor Gyökeres are people who've just joined the club and the player who we actually employ for the sake of chance creation? And I'll tell you, of those three chances that was given to Victor, the one chance that required him to just he could even shoot the ball first time was the one we saw from Eze today.
From Eze,
And
yeah,
Eze
yeah.
was able to get a lot of second balls, balls that are bouncing
Had
off
a lot of four to
difficult.
five of
Yeah,
them.
we don't see Odegaard taking those shots.
No,
We
no, no,
see Eze
no, no.
taking those shots
Yes,
consistently.
yes, yes,
I'll
yes.
say Eze was denied a good goal today by a brilliant goalkeeping from
Pope.
the Nick Pope, Newcastle goalkeeper. Right, there was
Yeah.
very little he did wrong. It's just excellent goalkeeping. But I'm gonna say this, and I'll tell you this again. Eze does very well for us on the left, but he gives us bigger impact down the middle. Now we're starting to see a problem, right? Recall my very first conversation with you. I said Arsenal is getting to that level where it's okay if you're not a starter week in, week out.
Yeah.
It's
I
okay
mean,
if you
it's
come
very
from the
okay.
bench.
Very okay.
We deserve that, right? We've
We-
been
yeah,
through
yeah, yeah.
seasons. We've seen seasons
Yeah.
collapse because we don't
Yeah.
have players in the background. It's
Yeah.
okay to play your 60 minutes and go off like they did with Saka today, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
okay to play your 45 minutes and go off for someone like Saliba. That's fine. The major issue is we seem to go season after season with a particular issue, and rather than get adequate replacements, we start trying to put square pegs in round holes. We did it with Havertz, we did it with Merino, right? We're doing it again with Eze. That's 3 seasons running. You put in square pegs in round holes. I'll tell you something. I don't know if it's a direct quote once, but something that they tried to do at Madrid last season that didn't work was a criticism for Carlo Ancelotti to say you have players who are absolutely good at their position, and now you're trying to tweak the team to fit people into where they don't fit. Bellingham's no longer playing attacking midfield. Vinicius Junior is now literally no longer playing as the second centre forward in that forward line. Rodrigo's lost his place, and then you start to get a bit of issue trying to balance the team. I'd say if you want to win, and the Madrid team that won 3 Champions Leagues in a row, some of the best teams in the league, right? You play absolute maverick, like game-changing players in their correct position, right? Martinelli was never a left winger. Trossard
Yes.
an inside forward.
Yes.
We've not really had a left winger since Alexis Sanchez left Arsenal. That's
I support that.
6
I
years
support that.
running. So get players who can absolutely dominate in their position, right?
Yeah.
And they will win the games for you. You don't expect to see Haaland playing for Man City and then he's playing as a false 9, or he's drifting out wide or something, or De Bruyne coming in and then playing right wing. No. Or Rodri coming in and then playing right back or centre back. No. Play your good players in their position and you would actually win games. But this is what I love about Arsenal. Yeah, we're diverse enough, right, to incorporate people and play certain structures to say, oh, is he drifting from the left, Calafiori,
Yeah.
you go out wide, you free roam, Saka hold the touchline, Gyökeres make the runs in, and we're able to still get wins from it. But I think today, and the reason why we have such a one-sided kind of attack where most of our attacking sequence come from the right side is we don't actually have a left winger.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I said it before that although we spent a lot of money this window, but we still have that one transfer to make, which is a left winger. That was nice. So the first half came to an end. The goal partially was the fault of Mosquera because the clearance he made was so poor. And I'll say we shouldn't have seen Mosquera start the game today. So this is the problem I have with Arteta. Yeah.
I disagree.
Wait a minute. The game against Man City, Mosquera should have started that game because he was a player in form for 3 games, and then you suddenly dropped him for a player that's not even played 3 games in a row. Because Mosquera has put in the shift, he's in form, he knows what he's doing, and then you dropped Saliba against City, and he did the same thing, removed Saliba again and dropped Mosquera. That inconsistency, I think, might have had an effect on Mosquera's performance today. Because the clearance he was making was so poor. About 50% of his clearance were poor. And this was unlike him for the past 3 games. And I put it on the fact that Arteta dropped him in the game against City.
I'm gonna start by taking us a bit back, and this might come as a surprise to you. Every great Arsenal defender that we've had that I can remember, I'm gonna go. Let's say when I was really watching football, I'm gonna start with Koscielny. Yeah, we had Thomas Vermaelen in the team, and Koscielny joined. For like your first couple game, you make a mistake, and that's gonna be a make or break moment for you. I don't know if you recall a match against, I think, Birmingham City in a cup, like what used to be the Carling Cup final then, where Koscielny absolutely gifted Obafemi Martins a goal to score. We ended up not
But I think I
losing
saw
the
that.
game in the final, yeah. Again, in your first season, you will make a mistake, and that's going to be a make or break moment. And I'm going to say this because I like to back young players. Why? Because it's a difficult league. Secondly, because if you start doing a job today, no one's going to expect you to be very, very good at your job 100% within your first 3 months. There's a reason why in the corporate world they call it the 90-day rule. Some people say you've got 6 months to evaluate you for 6 months before we make a decision if you're a good fit or not. I'd say Mosquera has done way more good than bad coming into this Arsenal side, and I'm pretty sure you will agree with me on that.
Definitely.
What I think has gone wrong for him today is not every day you get to play against a 6'6" centre forward and you have to challenge for aerial balls.
I mean, aside the physicality, no, I'm not blaming the physicality on this performance. My take is this: you are having a run of games. You're having a run of games. 3 games in a row he started. He played wonderfully well, almost receiving the man of the match in these games. But then, why did Arteta drop him against City, and then you started him against a Newcastle? Do you get what I mean? I mean, you are playing a player consistently, and then you drop him before he picks the form again. That was the problem, and the problem was so evident. What happened today with Mosquera, we didn't see it in the last 3 games he's played. We didn't see that, and I blame it on the form. I blame it on the fact that he got dropped against City. He should have been played against City instead of Saliba.
I hear your point. I want to agree with you, but I'm trying to show you that Mosquera is the kind of player that can give us top performances irrespective of how many games he's played or not. My first point is a lot of top football professionals will tell you if you've got a good centre back pairing, do your best not to disrupt it.
Not exactly. I think that's the problem.
We know
That's the problem.
that Gabriel and Saliba are probably the best duo in the league. Maybe
Yeah.
Van Dijk comes a close second, but that one is more like you've got one very, very good one. You've got one all-timer centre back and a good defender who can afford to make mistakes, knowing that the all-timer centre backs can mop up for him. With Gabriel and Saliba, it's a case of I'm good on the ball, I'm good 1v1, you're a monster in set pieces, you're a monster clearing, you're a leader on the pitch, right? And that's where Mosquera comes in. Kiwior had this problem as well. Kiwior was way better on the ball than Gabriel. Kiwior was able to hold his own against a Real Madrid side in a Champions League quarter-final, right? He didn't do too bad in the semi-final against PSG as well. We didn't have Gabriel for those games. But then again, if you've got a great partnership that would give you the most clean sheets in the league 2-3 seasons running, you don't want to disrupt that. And I'm telling you this because the reason Mosquera started to play in the first place is because Saliba picked up an injury against Liverpool.
Yes.
Was that the second game of the season?
Yes.
He picked up an injury against Liverpool.
Yeah. I think it was against Leeds.
That, in pre-season, I think it was the Athletic Bilbao match where you and I talked about this, and I told you Mosquera is way comfortable with aerial balls than Saliba is. Recall the goals Isak scored us last season in the Carabao Cup, the same Newcastle team that are quite physical. Recall some of the bouncing ball incidents with Saliba where he just doesn't deal with it, including the João Pedro one. Mosquera is rarely in these situations because our most aerial dominant defender is Gabriel. The second person is Mosquera. He's very good aerially, and I felt like it was a case where Arteta was convinced that, look, right, Haaland might have a jump on Gabriel and on Gabriel and Mosquera because they're an untested partnership against very difficult teams, right? When we played Liverpool, they didn't have Isaac. Ekitike wasn't all that, to be fair. So it wasn't a game where we expected them to absolutely blow us out of the park in the forward line. But against Man City, we were so cautious of the one thing that happened to us. We got hit on the break, right? And Saliba was caught lacking for that. Again, he tried to do with his experienced partnership, and today it's a situation where Newcastle were always going to go long. They were always going to try and get set pieces. They were always going to try and get corner kicks because they have the height for it. And we had to play some of our taller players who are good aerially. I find it even surprising that Merino didn't start today, because given Arteta's...
I also find that surprising.
He would have
I
played
also find
Merino
that surprising.
Today, right? And
So
try
what?
and match the intensity. But again, just to iterate, right? I don't think Mosquera has done too bad. That was a bouncing ball.
He's not done.
Pressed
He's not
by
done too bad.
Waterman,
Yeah.
and he's trying to give a pass to the goalkeeper with his left foot.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
not done
Yes.
right.
Yes.
He would have
yes.
been better knocking that off for a
throw-in.
throw like Gabriel
Yeah,
has
yeah.
done.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
down to experience again, and he's 21.
No,
so
I'll
we
not say
have to
experience.
excuse him. But Arteta
No.
is absolutely at fault for this. But it's not.
Yeah,
it's not
that's what I'm
fault.
saying. It's the manager's decision for dropping him against the City game and then just throwing him in against the Newcastle side. I would have preferred him. Preferred him to have started again. I mean, that was like, you see, the switch in those games have costed us 2 goals now: a goal against City and a goal in Newcastle, because you switched the centre backs. I'll put it on that. I'll put it on the fact that, okay, you've changed something in the defense. In Liverpool as well, a change in the centre backs have brought a goal on us. So every time we've changed our centre back pairings, we've conceded a goal.
Again, I agree with you, right? I just don't think it's got anything to do with form. The reason I'm worried is taking a player off at halftime when they've not really done too bad. And again, right, he's conceded a corner kick, right? The corner kick has been taken short. The player who's whipped the ball in has had eons of time to pick out.
Too much time.
Flopped in the box with the slight
Too much time.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to really say the goal is Mosquera's fault, right? I just think his inexperience put us in a situation where we gave Newcastle the thing we didn't want to give them, which is set pieces.
And I
he'll
think
get
it will.
better for it.
It will get
This
better,
is a make or
yeah.
break situation. Right?
Yes,
This
yes.
will
I think
make him or break
yes,
him.
yes. He's gonna learn. Because these are the moments of like the Kevin De Bruyne when we try to pass back, or when Tomiyasu tried to pass back.
Yep.
Kevin De Bruyne one time shot.
Takes the ball, one time shot, goal.
Those silly defender situations.
I'm glad he's getting how his system early in the game.
Yeah.
Still not too much.
It's not, but it almost costed us though,
It
bro.
almost cost us, to be fair. But
We
the team
move on
found
from
their way
that.
back in it. Yeah.
Awesome. So what changed when the subs were being made? Were you like, oh my god, this guy is gonna kill us today, Arteta? What subs were being made? Wait, what subs were being made that were like, nah, Arteta is going to kill us today?
There's a bit of mind
My
game
sub
that
was
goes
Merino.
on. There's a bit of mind game that goes on. If you check our chat, I texted at some point that we're bringing Merino in, and I started to yawn like this is the most obvious Arteta substitution ever. Reason I said that, right? I first said we need to get Odegaard in the game at some point, even though he's not fit. Start of the second half, Newcastle were a 1-goal lead. They decided to press very high, right? Then they forced us to take a lot of long balls into their box, which I felt Gyökeres did okay with his hold-up play. But against the Newcastle that have switched to a back 5, it was always going to be difficult to even get the second balls.
Yes.
So even if he gets fouled in the first one, there's going to be a loose ball in the middle of the park that you need to pick up. And against a 5-4-1, that's very difficult to get. So I felt like, this is the most obvious thing. We need someone who can hold on to the ball, someone who can draw a foul, so we get those set pieces from very, very strategic locations, right? Someone who can force a corner, someone who can play that boring side-to-side football. Because when people lock up the middle of the pitch, what you absolutely need is to play through the flanks, and to play through the flanks very often, right? The good thing is we've got probably one of the best in the Premier League at doing that in Martin Odegaard. Eze found pockets of space to take wonderful shots. But as soon as Newcastle switched to that back 5, right? They made 3 substitutions at once. They changed their forward line. And
Their front
changed
3.
their back 5.
The entire
The
forward
mind
line.
game there was Arteta trying to see, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna try and succumb to the pressure, and I can put in someone who can get the ball from the first third to the final third, take the ball from the goalkeeper and take it up the pitch. And what really blew my mind was when he took Saka off. And I had to remind myself, oh, he's just come back from a hamstring injury. We've not got Noni Madueke. He was like a hand glove replacement. So we've been careful with him. Right? I had to remind myself that, oh, I understand why he's taking Saka off. But the Merino sub, I absolutely saw it coming. Because if there's one thing we needed then, if Newcastle are going to sit back with 5 tall defenders, Jamal Lascelles, Sven Botman, Dan Burn, these guys are huge. Right? We need
huge guys.
We need people who actually get on the end of the ball. And the only tall player we had in our front 6, right?
That's Merino.
6 was actually Gyökeres, right?
Gyökeres is not as tall as them.
Declan Rice was too busy trying to play sweeper for when we lose the ball, so he wasn't going into the box. So we had just one, let's say, 6-foot+ player in the box against Newcastle's 4. We needed the height, right? And when I saw Mourinho coming on, I was like, he's doing it again. It's the most predictable substitution in football. I need height, I bring in